also forewarned the leech that he would undoubtedly perish if he ever did anything to escalate the situation. But not under Satan's control. The Demon King genuinely admitted that his master was a more powerful demon than he was. This statement caused Arcadia to consider who the demon was that was more evil than Satan. The person they were discussing was busy yawning in the meantime. Now, Dex was wondering what had caused Satan to return so late. Once more to the icy mountains, Satan has now created a shadowy magic circle beneath the dark dragon's black flame. This one has already experienced the amazing magical force emanating from this magic circle. She was curious as to what was going on. Additionally, Satan informed her that he was now betting on her. He gave her an order to perform better and live up to his standards. Following that declaration, the Black Flame Dragon of Darkness was confronted by the shadow and strength of Leech Agrimer. She was out of time to respond to this turn of events. Black Flame Dragon of Darkness was then notified by the system that she had just absorbed the essence of Leech Agrimer. She also received a secret class known as Meister of Death. This incident changed the Witch Hunt quest significantly as well. This was the quest's new window as of right now. For the players in the evil camp, a new hope has appeared. When Satan realized their new strategy for winning this war, he felt uneasy. All the evil camp has to do is take over the kingdom or remove the Pope. He got a shiver when he considered his master's true intentions. Black Flame Dragon of Darkness, meanwhile, was given some significant enhancements. Her entire equipment set was enhanced and modernized. These changes were also validated by the system. This woman's stats have significantly increased. This was the Black Flame Dragon of Darkness status window as of right now. She finds it unbelievable that she has so many new skills. She believed that these kinds of skills couldn't possibly match her prior performance, in which she had secured the top spot for her position on the Korean server. Black Flame Dragon of Darkness even dreamed of becoming the top ranker on the whole Korean server. Satan then cut her off from her reverie, but she was too startled to immediately focus on anything. Then, he forewarned her that unless she intended to be hurt, he would need a quicker response the next time. The King of Demons was pleased with this player's altered appearance overall. She now had a more role-appropriate appearance. The fact that they could now move on to the next phase of their plan relieved this one as well. Then the Dragon of Darkness, Black Flame, received this scroll from Satan. He instructed the woman to commit all the information on this scroll to memory since she would have to recite it all at a later time. When Black Flame Dragon of Darkness discovered what they had planned, he was obviously stunned. Satan signaled her to begin filming as soon as she had committed the information to memory. After that, the night outside Arcadia was calmer than the one inside. Our hero was likewise seated in front of his PC. He was going through some significant articles. The Holy Camp players were the ones who posted these. They were still attempting to finish their missions. Yun was content with the chaotic atmosphere that surrounded Arcadia. Simply put, he felt that the linked quest known as Witch Hunt was excessively biased. Not even the NPCs labeled as members of the evil camp were safe. Players in the Holy Camp received participation points as well. Our hero intended to take advantage of this disturbance to instigate further mayhem within the game. There will undoubtedly be more heat. Conversely, the malicious camp participants were now deluging the website with grievances. They can no longer play the game in peace because they are being hunted. Ian believed that someone needed to step up and play the role of a hero for the evil camp. For this reason, he requested that Satan and Black Flame Dragon of Darkness record a little skit. He had to use every one of his remaining plausibility points for this task. All or nothing applied. Fortunately, Satan did a fantastic job. This guy was about to show off his latest work of art to the world when he smiled menacingly. The video that Satan shot some time ago has been uploaded by Ian. Now that the Black Flame Dragon of Darkness has addressed every member of the evil camp, all players could see it. This was one of her speech's topics. I say this to everyone who has been incorrectly labeled as filthy, repulsive, and dirty. Numerous members of the evil camp have perished, are dying, and will soon perish. I recently narrowly avoided death from an attack as well. We can no longer watch this pointlessly. It's not fair. There is an imbalance collapse here. To all the Dark Knights, thieves, vagrants, bandits, gunmen, assassins, and black magic users of Arcadia, let's unite our might and put an end to this ridiculous slaughter. Let's stop being shy now. Fight back and oppose them. I, the foremost black mage, the Dark Flame Dragon, the leech in charge of Death's Legion, and our gamer, will guide you all. I invite everyone who wants to unite with me in resisting the evil Holy Empire to come to the Maroon Kingdom. The following day, Baroness Mikhail examined her city's environs at Mikhail Barney. She was in disbelief at what she was seeing at the moment. Thousands of monsters were now circling around her territory, and someone waved to her as she continued to stare at this strange occurrence. Our hero was riding this enormous skeleton soldier at the moment. He returned to say hello, he told Mikhail. When the Baroness saw her friend riding a monster, she was obviously shocked. The monsters and skeletons were all like guardians of the city. Additionally, Dex and Mikhail met at this time. The adventurer was asked what he was doing at the moment by this woman, and our hero replied nonchalantly that he was merely on the road. Mikhail, however, was unconvinced because Dex was bringing an army of undead with him. Then this guy assured her that she didn't have to be concerned. This army of undead was sent there to defend her city against all of the players engaged in active combat. Furthermore, Dex acknowledged that he didn't want to lose important revenue streams from the mines. The Baroness received a letter from Count Brocken, so she was also prepared for this. He told her what transpired during Dex's mission. The appearance of the commander who oversaw the army of undead brought about by our hero. She also learned that Dex was successful in his mission because Duke Burgeon became a zombie and was giving direct orders to the skeleton soldiers. Her admirer hero grew even more as a result of all these factors. She asserted that she truly possesses a keen ability to identify adventurers. However, Dex graciously declined all of these praises. She went on to tell X that what he had done was actually good for the entire Maroon Kingdom. He was able to overthrow someone who was going to bring this empire to its knees. For a very long time, this duke had been extorting the people of the Maroon Empire. In addition, he was going to organize an uprising against the ruling class. She reasoned that no one would truly be deserving of praise any longer if Dex was truly unworthy of all the accomplishments he had made for the empire. The Baroness went on to compliment our hero on his assistance to everyone. She went so far as to say he should be referred to as a hero. The hero became aware of this statement. He knew that he had done everything to gain more power, so he had this sentence written on his eyes at that point. Then, Dex shifted the subject of their discussion. He inquired as to the reason behind the Baroness's tardiness in paying for his portion of the mines. She then admitted to Dex that she had been working too much lately. She expressed her regret right away and vowed that it would never happen again. Meanwhile, the CEO's chair at the Arcadia Korean branch was vacant. Limon had entered her capsule now. Given that the conflict between the evil and holy camps had already impacted 2 continents, she was also compelled to log in. Their headquarters was unprepared for this emergency. Despite the chaos, they have no authority or justification to put an end to it. Arcadia's true purpose was to achieve this. Although they have a truly limitless amount of freedom in this game, they cannot ignore anything because doing so will ruin their future plans. In an attempt to lessen the impact of this incident, the woman then ventured into Arcadia. Neon moved swiftly to Alice's location. With this, I welcomed her boss. She asked how she could assist her right away. Then Neon disclosed that she had arrived to modify the material for the witch hunt mission. She declared to Alice that she intended to fully waive the user's death penalty for the evil camp. This one subsequently verified her request, and this decision was promptly approved because it came from a manager at a lower level. Alice turned off the punishment for those who used the evil camp. The player's balance was restored as a result of this, and it caused a great deal of unrest. The players from the Holy Camp are under attack from the evil camp members who refrained from retaliating against them. They simply resurrect and will continue to attack even in the event of death. The players he had killed the previous time then confronted the elderly priest. They vowed to kill him and follow him to the ends of hell. However, the Holy Camp moved as well, seeing as the evil camp gained ground. They would not suffer in silence. These guys established a backup force to assist each group because they were better organized. Their small size actually improved the group's communication. They succeeded in developing a system for their assaults as well. At this moment, equilibrium was attained once more. The never-ending battle loop has started. A full day was spent fighting inside the Maroon Kingdom. This occasion was even given the moniker Festival of Blood. Then, a number of notifications showed up on RMC. The 2 forces were now engaged in a more intense battle. In the midst of all this chaos, Dex's plausibility increased by about 63,921. Shady Schemer is the new title he received. While everyone was busy fighting each other, this guy was relaxing at the top of the roof. He had no idea that his action would spark this much chaos and conflict. The word hero was then mumbled by Dex. When he first started playing Arcadia, he believed it would be an easy game that he could win. However, it far surpassed all of his expectations. Now, his actions could actually have an impact on how this game is played. Now, our MC was questioning whether he truly deserved to be referred to as a hero. Specifically from this NPC, he deduced that this was the enjoyable aspect of Arcadia. He believed that the game was exceptionally well made. Satan then interrupted these thoughts with a disappointed scream. He was sorry to see such a waste of plausibility. Dex then informed Satan that since the demon had accepted his terms, there was nothing more he could do. However, Satan persisted because he had employed such a convincing plot device to bring Argamer back to life. This one then disclosed that he carried out their plan by using every bit of his plausibility. When Satan heard this, he became very silent. Furthermore, Dex informed him that Satan ought to be more appreciative as they were able to lessen the damage done to the evil camp. This one then conceded that he had lost. He has very little chance of defeating the greater demon. Then Elle entered and assured Dex that Satan was not a concern. She asserted that demons belong to a species that speaks one kind of language while meaning another. At that point, our MC grinned to himself. The Holy Camp is the focus of their next scheme. This angel was jubilant as well. She'd stop at nothing to exact revenge on the evil camp. To win this war, she even offered to use her own credibility. Then, Dex applied the skill of divine descent. Kadal was the name of the hero he chose for this moment. He is the Pilgrims and Adversity's Knight. Elle informed our MC that the hero's strength was sufficient to exact revenge on the leech. Then Satan got involved in the discussion. He asserted that the leech would defeat every hero, even if Arjamar was just a collection of bones. However, as soon as the demon realized who the hero was, he was unable to complete his sentence. The holy sword that initially vanquished Arjamar belonged to Kadal. Still, it was too late. Dex has already received notification from the system that this hero's soul has entered his body. This guy can now take down the most powerful necromancer in Arcadia. Even the formidable holy sword is in his hands. Satan finds it hard to comprehend that Elle would invest so much credibility in order to overcome Arjamar. This angel was determined to show that, unlike someone she knew, she was not cheap. She declared that she would stop at nothing to eradicate the demon breed, wearing a determined expression. It's interesting to note that in this game, Elle appeared to be a demon sword. There was nothing this king of demons could do about her. In order to gain greater plausibility, our MC was now preparing to stage a larger incident. Even though he now has 63,000, he was not content. He intended to take advantage of the current momentum to up the ante in this conflict as much as possible. And he will make the stakes himself if none exist. Dex was able to bring out the hero that the evil camp was in dire need of. And that took the shape of Archimedes, the top block mage of Arcadia. This implied only that the Holy Empire would require a representative as well. Our MC volunteered for the position and accepted it with gusto. This person did not reside in the domain of gold and evil. Later that day, Dex was going to punish the cruel sword. The recently crowned king and his advisors were holding an urgent meeting at the capital fortress of the Maroon Kingdom. This person is crying a little because he felt like everyone was pressuring him to choose. The young king was already being urged by one of his advisors to flee the imperial capital while there was still more time. When things settled down, they could just take the throne once more. But the king would not want to take this simple route, even at his young age. He continued to consider the people living in this kingdom. He also believed that his father would not act in such a manner. The king was informed by the other non-player characters in the room about the soldiers and exploits that were attempting to defend the stronghold. They found some solace in this news. They believed that they could just cooperate to fight this war. But as soon as this powerful aura filled the room, their brief celebration came to an abrupt end. "There's trouble outside," the king was told by one of the fortress's guards as he entered. This one panicked and stowed away right away. The fact that their first line of defense has already been compromised astounds him. There were simply too many undead approaching them. This lady, the Black Flame Dragon of Darkness, was currently leading the new army of the evil camp, which was located right here. This young king was more than sufficiently frightened by this scene. The witch hunt's current state was once again displayed by the system. Over 48 million people have already died as a result of the evil camp. This exceeded everyone's expectations. It dawned on Black Flame Dragon of Darkness that they might lose this war before she got to the king. However, this was a pretty predictable outcome. Players belonging to the evil camp could simply charge through their opponents without considering the consequences. Black Flame Dragon of Darkness, however, believed that this was also the ideal moment to put her newly acquired strength to the test because they were now facing certain defeat in the war. She began utilizing Argamar's power. All of the adventurers near the fortress could see the image of the greatest necromancer known to Arcadiana, along with his army of undead. Some soldiers could do nothing but prepare for the coming conflict. "Is Argama ready now?" asked Black Flame Dragon of Darkness. This necromancer then responded to this. He was ready for anything. The evil camp's hero employed a technique known as Deathfield or Dark Night Festival. She then used the soul necromancy skill as a follow-up. This woman was spot on. She could actually make this kind of use of Argamar's skills. The necromancer himself then praised her. He believed they could actually function as a one-man force. Right now, only those with strength akin to an apostle's could overcome them. It was also more than enough for these soldiers and adventurers to be stopped by this army of undead. Then the Dark Flame Dragon grinned. This, she declared, was the beginning of their siege warfare. She gave the order for each and every zombie soldier to advance and take the throne. These guys knew they were going to face an impossible battle, and it was starting to make them cower in fear. Dark Flame Dragon blushed black. She found this scene enjoyable. She hasn't experienced this exuberant feeling in a long. After a short while, the entire battlefield was filled with the sound of soldiers screaming. The army of undead then surrounded the Maroon Kingdom's fortress. The king's throne was gradually approached by the Black Flame Dragon of Darkness. Now this one was deserted. This lady didn't anticipate the ruler running away as she approached the throne. The soldiers' and explorers' sacrifices outside were rendered meaningless by this action. She grinned, realizing that such a ruler was really unnecessary for this kingdom. Now, this one was in front of the throne. The dark flame dragon made a statement as it touched the seat. Then the system told her that she had succeeded in assuming the throne of the Kingdom of Maroon. She was acknowledged as the throne's new owner as well. This implied that the witch hunt had been won by the evil camp. The honor of the Golden Throne is the new title bestowed upon the Black Flame Dragon of Darkness. With complete sovereignty over the Maroon Kingdom, this waifu had risen to the position of reigning queen. Glory be to the Dragon of Darkness, Black Flame. This accomplishment truly brought her joy. In the history of this game, this was the first time an adventurer had taken over a nation. She was also anticipating her income as the monarch of the Maroon Kingdom. Now she was trying to decide what to do first. The Dragon of Black Flame and Darkness considered opening the treasury and taxing everyone. She also intended to conquer nearby nations and establish her own little kingdom. As she was enjoying her little party, someone spoke. He had inquired about her happiness as the new ruler. Black Flame Dragon of Darkness looked quickly to see who was speaking. Someone's silhouette caught my attention. You guys already knew who this man was, right? Apparently, he could have destroyed the entire army of undead veterans on his own. The man, who was delighted about this development, grinned when the Black Flame Dragon of Darkness questioned him about his identity. With the knowledge that her army outside had already been routed, the new Maroon Kingdom ruler unleashed her cursed arrow. All of them were aimed at our MC. Now, the true hero is here. Adlian's Footsteps is the skill that Dex used. It provided him with enough speed to avoid the impending blow. Now, the Black Flame Dragon of Darkness was curious about the identity of this player. Although she had never seen him in the rankings, one thing was certain. This guy's expression, combined with his speed and skill, made her certain that this one was too strong. Our MC gave her a polite warning. The feat she had already accomplished was noteworthy. The balance of the game had been upset by the Black Flame Dragon of Darkness, and more indulgence would surely have disastrous effects on her. This woman was astounded by the amount of information this mysterious player possessed. Not to be deterred, she continued to cast spells at him. She asked him who he was, and all he could do was smile. Then he vanished out of nowhere. In an instant, Dex was in front of her. He was like a lone shark, our MC told her, prepared to take back the power she had borrowed. The Holy Sword began responding to the surrounding dark force as well. Arjima recognized the sword's well-known holy power right away. The impact of RMC's attack was then communicated to these two players by the system. The End of Eternity sword has selected its victim for the test. It became apparent that the beginning of an ultimate death was near, and held Arjima's soul. It was evident that the Black Flame Dragon of Darkness was battling RMC. Furthermore, she was losing all of the power that had been granted to her. Expressing to this woman that she was the whatever of darkness, Dex warned her that the magic of Cinderella was about to end. Now the two overpowered adventurers were locked in a fierce battle. Dex began to expose the Necromancer class's vulnerability to the Black Flame Dragon of Darkness. This one wasn't very good in close quarters battle. She didn't give up, though, because Black Flame Dragon of Darkness was the best black mage in this game. She went so far as to say that Satan, the Demon King, personally selected her. She mentioned this, and a massive magic circle materialized beneath them. She informed our MC that a person similar to him was merely a joke comparator. Additionally, Dex put some distance between them with this amount of power. He then drew Satan's attention and inquired as to whether he could hear what the woman was saying. This demon informed his master right away that he had no dealings with her. Argamer, meantime, continued to be afraid of the holy sword that was in front of him. Seeing this holy sword also meant that Arcadia was once more being meddled with by the heavens. He also recognized his master's face. That clarified the reason behind the Demon King's unusual annoyance. The Black Flame Dragon of Darkness was then ordered to retreat by Argamer. He was aware that they couldn't confront this man at this time. But this woman was perplexed by the advice. She believed they hadn't properly this mysterious guy and that only someone with apostle-level strength could overcome them. Our MC used his ability to follow in Adlian's footsteps while she was preoccupied. Then he materialized directly above the dark dragon with black flames. The woman then summoned a death field using her skill, and then there were hordes of undead soldiers. Our MC was going to have to face the people he used to rule. These were all elite undead combatants. Though this annoying skill was not helping, he thought he could end things easily. At that point, Dex was forced to make use of the Holy Sword's power. Then the system verified that anti-demonic energy was now enveloping this weapon. Additionally, its attack power has increased to 80%. Additionally, it will remove every magical resistance or defensive strength possessed by those with malevolent traits. Our medic simply leaped over the horde of undead and brandished his weapon. Then he struck the enemies with this great blow. Enough holy light emanated from the sword to illuminate the entire space. The armor of these undead soldiers was beginning to show signs of wear and tear. They were all vanquished at once. Our MC was able to return to the black flame dragon of darkness as a result. Fortunately, she managed to summon a shield. Now that all of her summoned soldiers had been killed by the sword's light, she was in disbelief. Then, Black Flame Dragon of Darkness attempted to find out from X where he obtained his sword. Then this one gave her an honest response. Our MC simply borrowed this one, he had no idea where it originated. Her curiosity was piqued even more by this reply. Who gave him this holy sword, she inquired. Regarding this person, their drive came from a resolve to do whatever it took to defeat the devils. Then he thought of Il's powerful silhouette. The entire fortress began to tremble after that. And then there was a bright light shining upwards. All of the players who were engaged in combat with the legions of undead soldiers witnessed it. Now they were wondering if it was a player-on-player attack. If so, it seemed as though they were engaged in a different kind of game. Then one of these players recognized a face. It was the Dragon of Darkness, Black Flame. One of the players was overpowering her. From their point of view, the person battling her was carrying this brilliant sword. The sorcerer attempted to call forth a powerful demon to put some distance between them, but this was insufficient. X utilized a technique known as Silence of the Shadow. This high demon was then rendered eternally dormant. This implies that it cannot be called upon again. The dark flame dragon was obviously perplexed. She was unaware that there was a force that could prevent her from using her summoning ability. Even so, this one was desperate. She believed that her numerical advantage would help her win this battle. They called in a whole contingent of skeleton soldiers. Dex said he was sorry and disclosed that he was using a continuous skill. These undead were once more encircled by the holy sword's light, which granted them eternal rest. The Dragon of Darkness, Black Flame, was truly in danger. Her abilities to summon were all sealed. Besides, we can't be sulking at this moment. At this point, she also came to the realization that the man standing in front of her was inherently hostile to her. Again, Dex referred to her as whatever of darkness. They will now wind things down gradually, he informed her. This woman can only look at Dex in silence. Additionally, the system alerted these players to Argamar's fearful trembling. It was a bit too late, but he truly wanted to get away. Already, our MC has handed his opponent the death penalty. When the Great Holiness reached her body, the Black Flame Dragon of Darkness screamed in agony. This necromancer experienced the same thing. This attack struck him straight in the soul. There were also fatalities from the attack. The Black Flame Dragon of Darkness could perish at any moment. Then she questioned Dex about why he was acting in this manner. She asserted that there is no reason to continue doing this since the witch quest has already ended. Although the woman's claims were true, our MC disclosed that he had purposefully waited for her to ascend to the throne. He desired the evil camp to triumph, and the Black Flame Dragon of Darkness had to perish after taking over the Maroon Kingdom in order to complete this puzzle. He warned the woman not to despise him too much. Dex declared that the holy and evil camp will come to an end as a result of her passing. The Dragon of Darkness, Black Flame, was not understanding him. However, she had already conceded her loss. Argrimmar, though, was still hoping to avoid this destiny. Just before our MC swung his sword, Argrimmar recognized his visage. He discovered that the man standing in front of him was the same one from whom he had previously borrowed his power. The last attack from Dex came after this. The Black Flame Dragon of Darkness was struck by the holy sword. Then the times of absolute death and judgment began to overlap. As a result, Argrimmar's soul was permanently scarred. Additionally, it destroyed the necromancer's aconite tract with the dark flame dragon. When Argrimmar went extinct, it was completely erased. This one expressed how angry he was about it. He is unable to accept that this was going to be his second death. The essence of his soul was destroyed after that. Noble Judge was the new title bestowed upon our victorious MC. He informed Black Flame Dragon of Darkness that the outcome of this fight was predetermined before it started. He informed her that this was the cost of her power-related inebriation. She was enraged about our waifu. However, she also acknowledged her loss. It had been a while since she had enjoyed a game, so she grinned. The Dragon of Darkness, Black Flame, was vanquished. Nice and well-executed game. At that point, Dex ceased employing his Divine Descent ability. He was relieved that the ordeal had come to an end. After that, the system informed every player that Argrimmar had been vanquished and that the Holy Camp had successfully completed the prerequisite for the Witch Hunt quest. And our MC had already set this goal, as was to be expected. He was now curious as to how Arcadia would bring this outcome to a close. This one produced a contradiction since both sides succeeded in their objectives. At the same time, there was a contradiction on both sides, and the requirements for victory were reached. The system just started exploding, but that message started appearing on the screen. The admin understood that this urgent notification only meant that the system window icon was now glowing red. Analyses were performed to determine priority. The admin just started making all sorts of calculations while taking in his own hands a certain puzzle. Most likely it was the control panel. He understood that the percentage of completed requirements for victory was 94% versus 50%. The Saints camp prevailed, and since everything was going well, the system started searching for optimal scenarios. After reviewing a lot of options, it was even possible to say that hundreds of thousands of optimal scenarios were still found under the number 43923. Code 0.02, an emergency add-on was launched, code 283, and auxiliary changes were applied. Both sides met the requirements for victory, so the system finally issued a message that the battle of the evil faction Saint Camp ended in a draw. Immediately, everyone started looking at this notification, looking and then raising their heads up. They couldn't believe that their battle had somehow ended in a draw. Even though they were fighting, they were jello of their strength. Finally, new abilities began to appear, and rewards were calculated for each of the factions. Rewards are given out according to the contributions that were made by users of Saint Camp. The frequency of hidden tasks of Saint Camp also increased, and people who looked at this notification were still shocked, because really additional rewards were received for contributions. Did the church decide to give a reward not only to increase the rating, but it's just like that? They were all happy about it. They were happy that they could now complete hidden tasks that not everyone gets. Most likely it was very similar to the lottery if you get this task. At the same time, another notice was dedicated, which said that the Black Dragon of Darkness had taken over the kingdom, the surrounding regions. All parts of a given kingdom are activated unconditionally by the world, so from then on the kingdom is under the supervision of the demonic state. So it is, because if you look at this kingdom, then you need to see its roof. More precisely, the sky showed views of all the monsters. There were dragons, as well as other dangerous demons. Now for a year no country can start a war with the kingdom, and the kingdom is going to become stronger with the help of clans of the forces of the evil faction. The people who were in the evil faction understood that now even they had some sort of base. They couldn't believe that the demonic creature had actually protected them, because after the defeat of the Great War, it was as if it had disappeared, so it was impossible to find even the slightest trace of it. Now, Act 1 was finally finished. An additional quest called Appearance of the Forgotten Dark was added, and the Witch Hunt quest was completed. The Continental Law was also renewed, and the mass extermination of players on both sides was once again prohibited. One of the kings was watching all this, because looking at all these notifications, he understood that most likely he would start something that had already been repeated in the past. He knew that the era of chaos would be waiting for them once more. Droplets of reason appeared on his face. He remembered the picture that was in the past, the picture of real chaos. Now no one even stuttered about the balance of good and evil, which is in the settings of Arcadia. Many people who looked at it all did not understand, because once there is a draw at all, or is the system window just lying? But did the chief executive understand that this is not the main thing right now? The main thing is that no one even knows what to expect next. But still, everyone knew that they didn't understand anything, except for one person. Sure enough, it was the same creator, the same boy. The girl just couldn't believe that some could get a class like Chaotic Wanderer. Now a historical achievement has been achieved. The situation on the second continent of Arcadia has completely changed. The forces of evil have increased. The balance of power between good and evil has come. Now the title called Neutral Seekers has been earned. About 210,000 decency points have been obtained. Our protagonist was very happy with this number, because all it was necessary to prevent something if the person who created this game, or rather his class, really wants something from him. Of course, our hero understood that fortunately this time everything went as planned, that he even tried to inform the user at least a little about his existence, but getting a huge amount of decency points, so also all this chaos that arose there. Now he was only wondering what he should do next, wondering what fate had in store for him. By the time mission number 2 was completed, he had discovered the hidden class of Chaotic Wanderer, as well as been granted special rewards. It measured the contribution that our main character made, what the trial of the 49 million wicked did here, the conquest of the kingdom, also the transfer of power, the disappearance of the lick. Things were happening now on the division, especially on abilities. Our protagonist was incredibly surprised, because what will he get now? Now he was given a message that he can apply his decency points in a different direction. He can change the cause and effect, giving decency points to inanimate objects. Our main character of course did not understand anything, because the explanation was actually very strange. It did not even say exactly how much points should be spent, did not say that this is a good ability. So it is unlikely that it is aimed at a good cause. So since our character does not understand the description, he decided to check, but what it is actually capable of is its new ability. He extended his hand